Andy Johnson, Minnesota State University. We're looking at microaggression, bullying, and harassment, and we're focusing on university and college level behaviors, but this occurs in all working situations and can be applied to it. We want to stop these behaviors. We're not always aware of it, but to stop a behavior or to reduce a behavior, we must first define the behavior. So let's take a look at this. Microaggression, the small bits of bigotry, discrimination, slurs, abuses, or suppression based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and ability. And people of diverse groups are disproportionately impacted by microaggression. Now, it's not a single incident or a few subtle incidents. These usually do not rise to an actionable level by Title IX or HR. But over time, they have a psychological and physical impact on the individual being targeted. And the result is a toxic work environment that makes it difficult for recipients to perform the essential functions of their job and makes life miserable. Microaggression is a superordinate term that includes microinvalidation, microinsult, microassault, and subtle acts of exclusion. Now, these can be both implicit and unintentional, or explicit and intentional. Let's take a look at the four. First, microinvalidation. This occurs when when individual verbal comments or behaviors are used to negate, nullify, or demean the ideas of another person, or their comments or qualifications, or their experiential reality. Micro insults are the subtle negative and demeaning comments that are made. In terms of academic discourse, these are the written or verbal comments that subtly demean another person. They include discourse that's mocking or sarcastic or snarky. Micro assaults are the explicit and intended derogatory comments or the actions that are purposefully intended to demean or diminish other faculty members or other workers. Subtle acts of exclusion are acts that exclude individuals or mute or muzzle their voices, such as scheduling meetings without informing them, excluding somebody from a committee or work group, excluding a person from important conversations, having conversations around them, making decisions without seeking their input, or disallowing dissenting views or minority voices to be heard in meetings. We all know how that works. Now, a form of bullying and harassment, soft bullying is a form of bullying and harassment that's perpetuated against marginalized as well as non-marginalized groups of people. Soft bullying tends to be more purposeful and intentional than microaggression. It's meant to demean, damage, silence, intimidate, or exclude individuals. And the targets are usually those faculty or those workers who are most vulnerable. At the college level, those faculty who are untenured, not fully promoted, are those holding minority or dissenting views. Just like microaggression, soft bullying can be subtle or slight, but over time it creates a toxic work environment that has physical and psychological impacts. However, small interpersonal slights, uncomfortable incidents, and occasional rude behaviors, these are expected parts of any working environment, especially university life. It's recognized that this occurs. However, constant soft bullying has an incredibly negative effect. Soft bullying is identified by the intensity, the frequency, and the duration of behaviors. And again, some of these behaviors occur at the university level as a normal part of university life, of exchanges of academic discourse, but soft bullying is identified by the intensity of that discourse, the frequency, and the duration of the behaviors. And again, rigorous academic debate. This is an important part of university life. We would hate to cut that off. Hearing opposing ideas, conflicting views, this is how we evolve our fields. That should not be stymied. But it crosses the line when it becomes too rigorous, when it becomes too intense, too frequent, or the duration continues too long. Soft bullying also occurs when the focus is on the person and not on the idea. The old refrain, you can disagree with the idea, but don't be disagreeable to the person. Soft bullying includes some of these: spreading malicious rumors or untruths about a faculty member, suppressing or distorting another's accomplishments, making false accusations or misleading statements about a faculty member, making negative or disparaging comments to students about a faculty member, or making negative or disparaging comments to students about the views held by another faculty member. Continued hostile attacks on opposing views. Continued exclusion. Continuing excluding items from meeting agendas or department discussions. Refusal to meet to discuss department business. Continued downlisting on the agenda so that items get little conversational space. Convening department or program conversations around a faculty member, or setting up meetings in ways that lead to predetermined outcomes. Ignoring repeated requests for information or conversation. Scheduling department or committee work during non-duty days. Giving unfair or unequal access to overload or summer courses. Dominating the shared conversational space, which is a department meeting or any meeting, or disallowing faculty into the conversation. Interrupting or cutting off other faculty members while they're speaking, being left off of emails, not being invited, not inviting them to collaborate, or sabotaging equipment in the area of science. Now, we all do this occasionally, but if it is habitual and continual, it is identified by the intensity, the duration, and the frequency. We all do these once in a while, but if it is continuing, it needs to be looked at. Now, harassment is the unwelcome conduct that is based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, pregnancy, national origin, older age, disability, or genetic information. That's how the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission defines harassment, and that's pretty clear. We want to eliminate microaggression, bullying, harassment. At the very least, we want to significantly reduce it. And to do this, we must first define the behavior. That's what this video has attempted to do.